What up, Winbush here. And today we're going to take a look at Radical Motion. Now, for those that aren't familiar, Radical Motion, they offer a motion capture solution that uses AI, so that means no suits, no hardware, or no download is needed. As you can see on their website right here. So if you're looking, you can see that they're doing webcams, they're doing cell phone videos, DSLRs, anything that you want. You could take your video, then upload or stream that video into their service to bring out the motion capture data, and that's including real time. Now, I'm going to save that for another video, but today we're going to be looking at the collaborative platform called RADiCAL Canvas. Now, with RADiCAL Canvas, this is for 3D previs, and you can do prototyping, anything of the sort. And the thing is, this is all collaborative from around the world. So I'm going to enlist my buddy here. We're going to show you a demo, how we can work in 2 different locations. So I'm in California, he's in Colorado, and we're going to build out a scene from scratch. And then I'm even going to show you how we can bring some motion capture into it as well. But before we get started, I wanted to let everybody know that they do have several different tiers. So the first one, you could use this absolutely free. So if you look, you get the starter pack, you get 24 hours of play per year, you get the live access, you can do 3 FBX exports or 3 live streams a month, and you don't have to put any credit card in there at all. So I have joining me today, my buddy EJ. He's over there in Colorado. I'm here in California, and we're going to show how we can collaborate virtually over the internet using the Canvas interface.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to try this out. Yeah, to be able to work from totally different states or whether we're on the other side of the globe is going to be really interesting to see how this works, and excited to get started.
Awesome. So I'm on the website right now. I'll leave the URL down in the description and the comments in case anybody else wants to play with this, because this is free to use. You know, they do have a paid tier and they have a free tier, so go in there and play around with it. But to get started, I'm going to come right here to where it says Canvas Design. So I'm going to create a new scene, and then I'm going to start. Let's actually start with this one right here where it says Default RADiCAL. But there are some other templates in there you could get started with if you want, but we're going to create everything from scratch here. So I'm going to create a default template. And before I do anything else, I have to share this with EJ so that he can see what's going on at the same time, because this is a collaborative program that we're doing here inside of real time. So you can invite a lot of people into this room. So if I come up here in the upper right hand corner, click on share, and then I'm going to copy this link, and it looks like it's copied. So now I'm going to share it with EJ. He's over there on Discord. So let me drop it into his Discord chat. Once he's in there in the top right hand corner, right beside my logo there, you should see him, which there he popped up right there. So everything that's happening on my screen is going to be happening on his screen, and vice versa. So to get started, over on the left hand side under assets, let's start building out this room. So you can see that it has some assets already available for you to use. If I scroll down here, you can see we have some buildings, some cars, fences, depending on what you want to build out. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload some stuff, and then EJ should see it as I'm uploading it there in real time. So I'm going to click on this upload button right here, and this is going to bring up this interface that says upload a 3D asset. You could use GLB forms, FBX, or OBJ. So I'm going to come over and drag in my Windows Explorer. You see I have a couple of FBXs here. I'm going to start off with the floor, which is around 5 megabytes. Now the thing is, you don't want to drop in assets that are huge because this is browser based. So depending on how big your files are, it's going to depend the frame rate inside your viewport. So I'm just going to left click and drag this into here. And you can see right off the bat, 5 megabytes, they kind of show it up really quickly here. And I'm just going to click on import. Give us a second to upload, which is going pretty fast here. All right, so now we have it inside of our assets on the left-hand side. As you can see right here, it has this green dot, means that we manually uploaded this. So I'm just going to click and drag this into the viewport, and let me know when you see it on your side there, EJ.
Yeah, I see a floor.
Okay, so I mean, it was that quick. And if I come down here to the bottom where it says properties, left click on this, it's going to come up with our transform attributes over here on the left-hand side. So if I like to work in like 000 for my position mainly, just so we can start building stuff out and have it organically drop into place as it should be. So I'm going to come right here to where it says transform, hit this reset, and now we're in 000. I'm going to leave the scale as is, but we can start building out stuff from here. So the cool thing about Canvas is, since I'm working in my station here in California and EJ's over there in Colorado, he can actually start uploading some assets there as well. So the next thing I'm going to upload is a shelf, and then EJ's going to upload some stuff, and we're just going to start collaborating from there. So I don't even think you have to wait for me, EJ. I think you could just start uploading stuff if you want.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, and the cool thing is like I can zoom in and around here and even like move that floor if I want to as well, and totally mess up all the progress you've done. So what I'm gonna do over here is so here's my assets. I can see all those same assets there, and so I can see Winbush still working in there too at the same time, which is super cool. So we got a shelf going, nice. I'm gonna go up to my upload area here, select 3D asset. Here I got my little Gus the Pug box here that you can see a little preview of right there. All the textures came through all nice. And you can see the scale adjustments, all that kind of stuff. And so one of the things that I did as well was made sure that my box, this asset, the access center is kind of planted on the bottom here, because there is a really cool feature in Radical Motion where you can actually just kind of have it drop to the floor. So having that access center at the bottom of the object makes that a lot easier. So if I want to have it go to the floor, I can do that. So I'm going to go to import now. It's importing the asset, and we will see this. It says it might take a few minutes. And there we go. We got that took a few seconds right there. So we got 99%. And let's see what we got going on. So here's my new asset that I just created right here. You can see that little green dot, and I can still see Winbush in here. And I have a Wacom pen. So if I go and I click, middle click in, click in or out, that's my zoom in or zoom out. And then if I right click, that's my pan. And if I just click, that's my orbit. So super easy navigation here. So let me go in here and I'll just drag and drop this pug box. You can see it came in really big. I wish I had a vinyl toy that size. That would be pretty awesome. But then we have all the scale options up here, so I can, you know, scale this down in either direction. And again, this is where that access center comes in handy too. Here's that drop to, that snap to floor there. So if I go up here, I can go snap down and just kind of continue working here. So we got our scale, rotate, all that good stuff.
And the cool thing is, once you drop that into the viewport, like it kind of showed like a ghost image on my viewport, and it just like immediately popped in. So I'm not sure how big that FBX is on your side, but I mean, it came in pretty quick on my end.
Yeah, and everything's super responsive here. And so there is that uniform scaling. It's this little yellow box in there. So a lot of the same controls you'd be familiar with, whether you're using Unreal, Cinema, Blender, a lot of the same kind of transform controls and all that kind of stuff. So I can go in here and just start placing things. And yeah, what are we going to do? I'm going to get this on the shelf here, so I'll scale this down a little bit more.
Yeah, start. You can put that on the shelf. I'm going to continue to build out this back wall here, because I do have this brick wall that's like half a wall, because I didn't want it to be too large whenever I start bringing it in. So another cool tip is, once you have your asset selected, if you come down here at the bottom with the blue bar, we have this clone. I mean, the shortcut for it is Control D, of course, but if you select this right here, it's going to make a clone of that 3D object, and you could just start going through and placing in your objects like that. So that's another tip, because you don't want to upload huge assets to it. Like I could have made a brick wall that was really, really large, but that's going to take a little bit to upload. Plus, it's going to mess up the FPS on everybody involved, which is another tip I want to show here. So let me actually line this up. But if you look over here in the top right-hand corner with this eyeball, if you left click on this, this is going to show you your frame rate within your viewport there. Now, right now, it's saying that it's good at 25 frames per second. But if we wanted to actually bump it up, if I come down here to where it says post-processing, I'm going to left click on this, and then you'll see that now it says excellent. So now I'm getting 60 frames per second within the viewport. I'm not sure what you're getting over there on your side, EJ, but yeah, just going up there and changing out your post-process is going to jump it up sequentially, especially when you're working, you know, collaborative like this. So I'm actually going to upload this comic book stand from, I recently worked on a game inside of Fortnite with Methamin. We're battling inside like a comic book shop. And so I have some of the assets from that I'm going to drop in here just to kind of give it more of like, you know, a comic book or like a store type feel, because I felt like if we would have had something like this when we're working on a Fortnite game, it could have been a lot faster in the process because we could build out the scene. They could let me know on their end what they're liking about that particular scene. And, if they wanted to go through and switch some stuff out, they could do it right there on the fly. So there's a lot of cool, there's a lot of cool things that we could do with this collaborative process here. Even if you're doing like previs for like movies or, cinematic scenes or TV shows, I can see where this would really come in handy if you're working with a large team.
I was going to say the shortcut keys are a little bit different from other apps that I'm used to. So I think it is. So it's nice too, because if you just hover your cursor over, you'll see, okay, the move tool is W, the rotate is E, and then the scale is R. So WER, that's right next to each other on your keyboard. So that's pretty handy right there. So I can just toggle right through and continue working here.
What I'm going to do too is over here on the left hand side, like if I click at the very top, you can see we have our outliner. So if you're used to working in like Maya, Cinema 4D, Blender, this should look familiar to you because your outliner is going to show you everything that you have there inside your viewport. And so as he's working, I can select different things over here in the outliner and it's going to show up there inside the viewport. So like he's working on a pug box, I can actually go through and rotate it as well. I don't want to mess it up too much because he's in there working and stacking all those in there, but you do have that flexibility to work on the same exact assets at the same time. But what I like to do when I'm working in 3D is often put in like a human character just so we could get like a sense of scale of how everything is. Most default characters are going to come in around 6 foot tall, which is pretty average, at least for, here in the United States. So over here on the left hand side, where we have this little mask area right here, this like little Phantom of the Opera type mask. I'm not sure what you would call that, but this is going to be where we have some default avatars. You can always upload your own avatars if you want. Like if I click on upload, you could bring in stuff from Ready Player Me, Mixamo, Avatar. I'm pretty sure that everybody out there that's watching is really familiar with Mixamo. So you can actually upload Mixamo, bring it into here, and the rigs are going to work in there as well. But I'm just going to use one of the default characters here. So let me grab this character here, drag her into the viewport. It might take a second for it to. There we go. So we got the man with the Afro puff just chilling there in the center of the screen. Give us a little bit sense of scale. So I'm putting them next to like the comic book stand so we can see if it's just too big or if this is too small, which I think that sizing might be good.
That, and I can see your view moving around there, your little like camera view, which I think if I go into here, I can actually follow your movement. So I'll just follow. Now I'm looking through Winbush's camera, which is super cool. So I can see exactly what he's seeing. So if he's like, hey, check this out. Can you take a look at this? He can kind of take control of my view, and I can see exactly what he's doing, and vice versa.
Yeah, I mean, which brings me to like we even have these cameras over here too on the left hand side. You click on this camera, we could drag and drop in these different default cameras. So we have like ultra wide, wide, classic, and telephoto. Let's I'll just drop in a wide one here, and once I drop this in, you should be able to look through this camera too, right? Like if you go to the bottom where it says camera.
Let's see. Oh, okay, there we go. Yeah, so if I click the actual camera and then click on the lower bar there, yep, I can see now. Are you moving around? You can start moving around. I think I could see.
Yeah, I'm moving the camera now.
Okay. Looks like I'm in the wrong. Oh, nope. Started moving. There we go. Yep. Now I can see it live.
Okay, cool. So yeah,
I can even change the. It's like, oh, let's do a flatter view. I can see that. That's awesome.
yeah. So I'm looking through the camera too. So after you did that, like I saw that happening in real time. So like going to 85 millimeter and 50 millimeter. EJ has this Guess the Pug plushie that I actually went out and I photo scanned using reality scan just with my cell phone. So you can use like an Android phone or an iOS phone. And the cool thing about it is it's all integrated with Sketchfab. So I took this outside, took about 250 photos using the app. And once it was done calculating, it automatically uploaded to Sketchfab, in which we're able to come over here under assets. And right here, you'll notice that there's a button for Sketchfab, right? Like if I left click on this, it might take a second to come up, but you can see that it is now tied into the Sketchfab store in which you want to log in. So I'm just going to click on login. And I'm just going to accept it because I'm already logged in on my web browser. So it should automatically just pop up, which you can see there's my icon right there. So now you can just come through here and just search for different items, and you can search for the items in Sketchfab and it will automatically upload it. So I already know what mine is called. It's just Gus the Pug. And I'm going to hit enter. And there we go. So right now we see Gus the Pug for RADiCAL. That's what I named it there. So if I left click on this, it's going to give me some attributes there. Like it tells me how many faces, how many vertices, which it might seem like it's a lot, but if I click on import, it's actually going to upload pretty fast. So let's give us a moment to convert everything over. It's going to put it as a GLTF file, but you saw that only happened in maybe like 30 seconds. But this is the photo scan that I did of the plush. So you can see it looks exactly like this plush right here. And all I have to do is hit add the library. I'm not even sure how many megabytes that is, but I would say that having like this photorealistic asset in here is pretty crazy. So did you see Gus just pop right into the scene there?
There it is. Just pop right in.
So it could come over.
Zoom in. Whoop.
Let's make him a little bit bigger. And this is all raw, so I didn't go through into like ZBrush or Cinema or anything like that and clean it up at all. I just wanted to show what it would look like if we just uploaded it directly to Sketchfab from the photo scan and see what kind of results that we could get.
One thing I noticed that's super fun is, again, having that access center on the bottom of an object. I'm placing this on the top of the shelf, so you could do that with the plushie too. And I'm just going to hit that little snap down, and it'll actually recognize the geometry that's underneath it, so you can snap it to all these other surfaces, which is really cool.
So if you're used to using any typical 3D programs like Cinema 4D, Blender, Unreal Engine, you know that you can light your scene using HDRs. And we also have that capability here as well. So if I look over here on the left-hand side, right here, we have this button, and this is going to bring up our environment, which is going to be our HDRs. Now, as of right now, they have a bunch of them. They're presets. So we have sunny, sunset, overcast, night. So I'm going to click on night, and you let me know if you see that on your side, EJ.
Oh yeah, I just saw something change there.
So now we have this light in our scene right here. As you can see inside the viewport, I can see this green dot. That's EJ actually moving around inside of his viewport. And if I come over here, the image, this is going to actually show the image there in the background. So if you just go to sky, that's just going to give you more like a gradiated color. And if I come right here and hit image, we can actually see the image of that HDR that is lighting our scene. Now, another cool thing of the HDRs is we can actually add a floor projection. So if you have a 3D object that's inside your scene, it can cast shadows onto the floor. Let me show you inside the viewport. So as of right now, inside the viewport, you can see that we have a blue floor. And if I come over here to my outliner, at the very top, this is the blue floor that's there by default. So let me come through and actually just remove it. So I'm going to remove it. And now let me take Gus right here. I'm just going to move him over and bring him down here below the floor. I'm going to hit F on my keyboard to focus in. And you might notice that it's going below the grid right there. And we don't have any shadows and no collision or anything. But if I come back over here to where we have our environment for our HDR, I'm going to turn on floor projection and make sure you see right here under Gus and see what happens. So once I turn that on, now he's actually moving through the floor of that HDR. So let me hit F again to focus a little bit on there. So again, a little bit closer. Yeah, there you go. So now we're getting some feedback there with our plushie toy going through the floor. So if I turn that off again, now we just have the HDR lighting the scene. If we turn that floor projection on, the HDR is actually a part of the scene. And then if I come over here under the settings, I could turn down the exposure as well. And then we can also rotate the HDR as well. So if we don't like the way that the lighting is looking, like if I look right here at the bricks in particular, you could tell when I rotate it, you can see the shadow casting is changing along with the specular on the bricks.
All right, so in Radical Motion, you also have two types of lights. If you go and click on the little light bulb icon, you got the omnidirectional light bulb that if I could just drag in here, you can see that updating live in here, casting shadows and all that kind of good stuff. And then we also have a directional spotlight, which you'll want to go and get your rotational. Then we can get the plushie, a spotlight right on the plushie there, looking good. And then you can go into the properties here as well, cast up the exposure. You can turn on cast shadows right there, so you can see that right there. And then I can click on this light, and I believe this other light, you have to go in and check out the properties, and that was the one I already selected. Let's go to, yeah, I think it was this light there, cast shadow.
Yeah, I gave him to take this one here, maybe put it back towards the bookshelf. Oh, did you change the color on it too?
Yeah, changing the colors.
Let me click on that one to see. So if I go to properties, I could probably see what's happening under your properties too. Okay, yeah, so under the spotlight, we have the the color right there. You can change the distance, the angle, the, how do you say that? Penumbra?
Penumbra, sure.
Penumbra?
A prenup light.
Something like that. Then I think I could change the color on my side too here. So I'm turning it green while you're actually moving it around. So that's actually pretty dope because you're moving it and I'm changing the properties in here as well at the same exact time.
Yeah, so you can test out colors and like rotation and everything at the same time, which is super cool.
So the last part we're going to show is how we can bring in live motion capture using a webcam. And for this, since this camera is already set up and it's going like a short distance inside my office, I actually have a laptop set up on the other side of my office, which is going to be shooting a long way. And like with the same login, I'm able to be on my desktop here and my laptop at the same exact time. So EJ still be able to see everything that I'm doing. So I'm actually going to go and set up my character first over here under the right hand side where it says characters. We have this one right here, which has face and it has hands, or you could just do the typical one that just has the body. So I'm going to select this one right here, bring it into my viewport and wait for it to load in. And now we have the default radical motion character inside of our viewport here. And at the bottom right here where it says motion live, I'm just going to left click on this. And now this is going to bring up this window. I could put in maybe 2 actors in case we want to bring in 2 characters. Duration, I'm just going to leave it at 30 minutes and I'm going to click enable. Okay, so now that I have it live, it's telling me that I could drop in a character, but actually I could just come here, select the character that I already have inside my scene, come back down here to motion live, and I'm going to click on go live with my camera, but I'm going to actually do this part from a laptop. All right, so I'm on my laptop right now, and you can see I'm in the radical canvas, and I have my scene set up here. You can see I'm already in there, and EJ's in there, so I'm just going to left click on this, and that's going to bring us inside the scene. So with the scene loading up here on the laptop, that character that I brought in from my desktop, I should be able to access it here. So it's loading in right here, and let me select my character, hit F to focus. There we go. So I'm going to come down here to motion live. I'm going to go live. And right here, it says pick your setup. It's asking for full body or the upper body. I'm going to do this one right here where it says full body. And I'm just going to left click on this. And now you can see me on the laptop here. I'm going to click on speed because that's going to give us a better real-time reaction. Fidelity is going to give you a more accurate, but for what we want to show, I want to show everything in all its glory. So I'm going to click on speed here and click on continue. And then it's going to say connecting to the AI, let it set up. So it wants me to go into the T-pose while it's actually connecting. All right, cool. So it says when you're ready, ensure your entire body's in there. Start with a T-pose. Don't move. So I'm going to click on start, get into my T-pose here.
Whoop, I see it.
So you see me in there?
I see you moving.
Awesome. So you can also see on the laptop down there in the bottom right, that's the webcam. I'm not sure if you can see that on your side, but this is my desktop right here. Let me actually select this and focus. And then you should be able to see me inside your viewport as well, there, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm actually going to see if I can follow. Yep, I can follow your webcam or your other camera in there.
Yeah, so the cool thing is I'm hooked up to my desktop and I'm hooked up to my laptop at the same exact time. So if you wanted to do mocap just from one system, but still have your main system be ready for anything else, I mean, you have that capability as well. So I'm moving closer into my laptop, but you definitely want to make sure that you're within the view. And actually, I think I could do, what is that, like jumping jacks, I guess, to like jump off the floor. Did that show? Did I leave the floor on your side there? Let me see.
Try again. Yeah, you went off the floor a little bit there. It's kind of nice. I can still move the character around while it's doing the mocap, so that's really cool. I can like rotate it around if I want.
Yeah, so it's giving me vertigo. I'm looking at it as I'm like, as I'm walking.
That's looking good.
So it's like doing the moonwalk there. Actually, is that how the moonwalk works? Maybe you could go moving forward while I'm going backwards.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah, go move forward.
There you go, moonwalking. There we go. All right, but yeah, that's the motion capture capabilities there in real time from 2 different systems at the same time. All right, so that's it. That's Canvas. Like I was saying, if you guys have any questions about it, please make sure to leave the comments down below. I mean, what are your impressions? I know this is like the second time you've seen it. We had did introduction with the Radical Motion people over there, but you know, just one-on-one with us working, like what are your impressions on, you know, how everything turned out?
Yeah, I mean, I always have glitches when I do a Zoom call even, so the fact that like I'm still able to like see stuff happen in real time in 3D, especially when you went to the motion capture mode, like everything was super smooth, so that was super impressive. And as far as like just, like playing a video game, it's like you're not dropping frames or anything like that, so it's this very cool like collaborative tool. And I mean, even since we had the call with the team at Radical Motion, like they've already implemented a lot of new stuff, and they said that there's a lot of new features coming down the line too. So, like you said before, like this is basically version 1, and the possibilities are kind of endless from here on out. But the ability to do all this kind of stuff remotely is pretty incredible. Talk about all this, virtual production stuff people are doing with Unreal Engine. This is just going to be an awesome tool for any artist or anyone in production that wants to collaborate in real time.
Yeah, and this is only one of the services that Radical Motion actually has. Like as I said at the top of the video, they do have the motion capture. That's what most people are known for. So I will be doing a separate video based off the motion capture, because I'm sure a lot of people really want to see that. Like for the motion capture stuff, it's all AI, so you don't need a motion capture suit or anything. You just need either your webcam, or you could just take video on your cell phone or your DSLR, and you can upload that video to the server, and it's going to pull the motion capture out from that, which I'm really excited to get into as well. But we did look at a little bit of the motion capture here for doing like VTubing, stuff like that. But yeah, the possibilities are really endless there, especially once they start implementing a lot of the different features that they're going to be adding here in the future. So yeah, I just want to say thank you for joining me with this, because it's definitely hard to show this type of stuff alone.
Imagine friends.
So, yeah. I mean, I only have 2 friends, and you're the only one to sit. Yes, so it's like,
always, my friend.
Yeah, for anybody out there that's not familiar with EJ's work, like, do you want to share your social medias? I'm going to share them in the description, but you just want to give a quick plug of your stuff there?
Yeah, so I have a lot of tutorials over at my personal YouTube page called iDesign, and as well as you can follow me on all the social media accounts as iDesign as well. Also make courses at School of Motion, so you can see some of my other tutorials. I got a bunch of tutorials coming out about Cinema 4D, ZBrush, Blender even, so really getting out there, learning a lot of new things, and stuff like this is just really great. And I always appreciate you, Winbush, like always giving us the news of all the groundbreaking, cutting edge kind of technology like this kind of stuff, keeping all the artists out there informed and letting them be aware of all the tools that are out there. So this is exciting, and I can't wait to see that motion capture tutorial that you're going to be doing with Radical Motion here.
And with that, I'm going to say we'll catch you in the next video. Thank you again.